Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new Last of Us spoiler review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Sinnenberg, and today I am breaking down the final episode of season 2 of HBO's Last of Us titled Convergence. So if you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie and TV show reviews daily. I do out-of-theater reactions, movie franchise rankings, and every Tuesday I do box office breakdown shows. So if you like any one of those things, this is the channel for you. So please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you're notified when my new video hits the channel. Comment down below. What are your overall thoughts on Last of Us Season 2? Did you like it more, less than the last season? If you also play the video game, do you think one more season's enough? Two more seasons? Let me know what you want to see out of Last of Us Season 3. Let me know down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. It helps YouTube recommend my video to more people. So this will be a very interesting review that I'll talk about. So once again, I'm going to do the format of talking about the TV show spoiler reviews. And sorry, and when I'm talking about the TV spoiler review part, I am not going to hint at what the show will do in season 3. I'm going to end this review doing a full video game spoilers and kind of just predicting what I think they will do with season 3 from a story perspective. So if you haven't played the video game, don't worry. The 98% of this review will be not hinting at anything in season 3. Because this is also the last episode, if I don't really like to fully judge a show or season until it's completely over to give my final thoughts. So I'm going to break down the episode, then give my overall thoughts on the season, and then break down in video game spoilers what we have in store for season 3. So this episode basically is all about this battle of Ellie on this revenge path and really Ellie losing herself. We saw really the true version, the happy version of Ellie with Joel last week. And here we kind of see how things are kind of unraveling. She tells Dina at the beginning of the episode what really happened, why the WLFs killed Joel. And, Dina basically, didn't acknowledge it, really couldn't believe that this was the whole revenge, that they went to all of this lengths for this revenge. And the fact that, Ellie, basically what Abby did is what Ellie is currently doing. The revenge, the drive that Abby had to kill Joel is now what Ellie is doing to try to kill Abby. So Jesse is not a happy camper because Ellie's not telling her where she went the night before, which was in episode 5. And Jesse had a moment with Dina in the beginning of the episode, trying to pull the arrow out, and it kind of gets revealed that she didn't want the drink, and Jesse thinks something is off, and then Jesse realizes in this episode that Dina is pregnant. Now, this is different than in the game. In the game, basically, when Jesse arrives, there's not, in the game, Ellie's the one who gets shot with an arrow from the scars, and she pulls it out herself. Dina isn't hit by this. I actually like this part where Dina and Jesse actually have a moment together in this episode. But Jesse started in the game, she clearly, Dina was throwing up a lot, showing a lot of symptoms of pregnant. And then that's when he's like, it looks like she's pregnant with my kid. Here, he kind of just guesses because she didn't want to take a drink, and Ellie exposes that. And we're trying to break down basically everyone's motivation. Tommy is out on the hunt, basically with a sniper, and Jesse is out with Ellie to try to find Tommy, bring him back, and then head back to Jackson. But again, they're having there's a big moment in the episode where there's a Scar kid who is getting basically beaten up and about to be tortured by these wolves. Ellie's trying to step up for him. But Jesse's like, we can't do this. And Jesse's whole bit in this episode is that he keeps telling him, I cannot die. I have to be a father now. I have responsibilities for Jackson. Different in the game as well. He reveals that he is being set up to be the next Maria, the next Tommy, the next leader of Jackson. And he had a really nice moment with Ellie in this episode where they're talking down at that place, and he's like, I love Dina, but not the way obviously you do. And I had someone like that who came in for a couple weeks, and she invited me to go back with their people. And Jesse said, I have responsibility to this community. I'm the one, they raised me, and I have the responsibility of basically being the next person to take over Jackson. Jesse's responsibility in his community is Jackson, which is what leads to a big fight before they split off, where Ellie says, "My community, imagine if your community had to sit down and watch them get killed. What would you do in that situation?" And I think both have issues where, Jesse keeps bringing up that this is not our war. But again, Jesse and Ellie are just trying to really understand each other's perspectives. Ellie doesn't understand the grand scheme of the entire Jackson community and how that could be important to someone like Jesse. But Jesse also isn't totally understanding how really, even though she's lived in Jackson for a long time, Joel was really everything to her. And what would you do in that situation? That's when Jesse tells her later, if I was out missing or killed or something, you would burn everything down to find me and get revenge. So there's a big part in the episode where they split off. Jesse's trying to find Tommy, and Ellie finally sees the aquarium because she says, Nora said there's a whale in a sea. So she knows she thinks Abby is held up in the aquarium. Also, during this episode, Isaac is worried because Mel, Owen, and Abby are missing, and he needs Abby to take over, Scar Island and get rid of the scars because he believes that he will die tonight, and he wants Abby to be the one to take over the WLFs. And we see him on his way to Scar Island in the middle of the episode, and Ellie is on her way to the aquarium. So obviously, it looks like the WLFs are on their way, and you see all those fires at the Scar Island. If you know if you play the second video game, you know what they are also teasing in that part of it. So Ellie goes to the aquarium, and the big part here is she finds Owen and Mel, and they're, Ellie's trying to get information on where Abby is. Owen looks like he's going to give her up, but then he pulls a gun. And while standing right in front of Mel, Ellie shoots Owen, kills Owen, but also because Owen's standing right in front of Mel, the bullet also glazes Mel's neck, and so she's about to die, and she is pregnant. And obviously, this is supposed to reflect Dina, who's also pregnant. And basically, Ellie, a lot of her kills, in her opinion, are very justified throughout the season. But this one, for her, obviously, in her mind, was a step too far because she basically killed a child and it was a heartbreaking moment in the game, but they made it even more heartbreaking in the show because Mel, in her final breath, is asking Ellie to cut open her stomach to get the baby out. And obviously, Ellie's not equipped to do this whatsoever, so that Mel dies and the baby dies. That's when Tommy and Jesse show up to pick up Ellie. They head back to the auditorium, and that is where we hear gunshots fired after Ellie and Jesse have a nice moment together. And this is basically shot for shot, line for line from the game. And right as the door opens, Jesse gets shot and killed instantly by Abby. I will explain in the video game spoilers why Abby was able to find Ellie. Actually, no, that's not a video game spoiler. Never mind, I'm gonna say it here. In the game, when Ellie kills Mel and Owen, she drops her map of how to get to the aquarium. And that's how when Abby shows up later, she picks up the map, and that's how she gets to the auditorium. Without knowing that, because in the game they linger on the fact that she leaves the map there when she kills them. They don't do that at all. So for people who haven't played the game, it's very random in how Abby even knows where she is. But Abby's has a gun pointed at Tommy's head. Ellie says, "Tommy's not the one who killed all your friends. I am." And Ellie finally, it looks like in this moment, realizes the consequences of her violence and all of the collateral damage of her violence, which is Jesse's death. Dina's now in harm's way as and Tommy's in harm's way. And we end on clearly a gunshot took place, and it cuts to black just like in the game. We wake up, and it's Abby at the WLF headquarters in the stadium. Manny wakes her up. She looks out at the stadium, and we get to Seattle day one. So again, not a spoiler. We're gonna learn. I told you it's important about the days. This was day 3 for Ellie in Seattle. We are now going to look at Abby's perspective in her 3 days in Seattle in season 3. So I just want to say overall, I have to be honest, this is a very mixed season for me. They have for me two of the best episodes I have seen on television, with both episodes 2 and 6. I think as someone who played the game, I thought they did even a better job handling Joel's the Joel death episode was done even better than in the game. And I was really amazed how well they did Joel's death in episode 2. And episode 6 was also a masterpiece, in my opinion, with the Joel and Ellie flashback scenes. Those are two of the best episodes of the series, two of the best episodes of television you will see. So that's in this season, but the rest of it is a very mixed bag, in my opinion. And I have to say, I was slightly underwhelmed and disappointed with the finale. And I've come to realize why. And I just say this right off the bat on a positive note. I do think Isabella Merced as Dina was by far and away the best part of this season, and clearly the best performance of the season as a whole. Because again, Joel's in 2 episodes. She is phenomenal in the show. Dina was not a character I could care less about in the video game. She's very much a side character. She was easily the most interesting part of the show, and Merced is phenomenal in the show. The Caitlin Deaver that we got was excellent. We just didn't get a lot of her in this season. I'm excited to see more of her in season 3. I said there's some really good episodes. The production design on The Last of Us is immaculate. It is such a well-made show, especially if you guys watch the after stuff where they go through how they made the behind the scenes of Last of Us. It is jaw-dropping how much of this is real practical sets, and it makes the show feel a lot more lived in. Again, this is not awful television. I just found this to be a pretty mid, disappointing season of television, and I'm just going to come out and say why. I loved Bella Ramsey in season 1, and I do think Bella Ramsey is an excellent actress, but in my opinion, Bella Ramsey did not. I think it's half the writers, half performance. They just didn't do a good job pulling off the big Ellie turn as an adult, where Ellie's a very innocent girl throughout season 1. Yes, she's feisty, curses, can handle herself, but she's very much a child in season 1. And in the video game, you have to pull off that she goes from that to kind of this monster, because in the video game, Ellie kills way more people than in the show. And I feel like the writers of the show who trying to adapt the game were very nervous if they just had Ellie killing all these people, that she wouldn't be redeemable and wouldn't be likable. But by withholding her killing so many people, it makes this turn of hers not as big of a deal and sometimes out of left field. Where literally in episode 5, she's joking about being a dad, and then the next scene, she's brutally killing someone. I do think Bella Ramsey doesn't sell it completely, and I think the writing did Bella a disservice as well. And I found it really underwhelming the most in this episode. Something was off the whole episode. I had to reflect on it, and that's why this video is coming out late, because I wanted to get my complete thoughts on the episode. And I just didn't think this Ellie turn worked, both from a writing level and an acting level. I'm not saying Bella Ramsey's a bad actress at all. I think Bella's very good, and she's more good than bad in the season. I just did not think from a performance or a writing perspective, I bought this version of Ellie turning into this psychotic monster. The people who wrote the show clearly were very nervous how to go too far or not with Ellie killing people. And they try to make bigger moments out of a couple kill scenes. But in the video game, each of Ellie's kills, they really build on each other. They get more psychotic, more evil, and more she becomes a monster. But because they're very limited on the amount of people she's killing, they all kind of feel like out of left field how violent and sadistic she goes. So I do think the Ellie character was the most disappointing part, because, and I'm saying this again, they adapted the second game very close to accurate. They basically did a shot for shot for season one of the first game. There's nothing really to touch there. I am someone who defends Last of Us Part 2. Is it my favorite video game of all time? It is not. It is a flawed game at times. I still love Last of Us Part 2 for the most part. Really like Last of Us Part 2. And they did adapt things a bit too close. Like again, they expanded a lot more on the Seraphites and the WLFs and Isaac in particular. Those are really good improvements. But with holding on so many Ellie kill scenes, the biggest issue too from the changes from the video game is Tommy. Tommy was completely sidelined in the season. And as I've explained in the game, it's Tommy who goes out to Seattle first, then Ellie and Dina go, and that's why Jesse comes out to save them. Not to save them, but to find Tommy and them. But they just made Tommy just completely a joke in this season, in my opinion. I found that to be extremely disappointing. How they've gone about Tommy's character. I don't know why they, out of all the things to change, if Tommy was just going to go out there with Jesse anyway, why not just have Tommy go first and not change that part of the game? That really didn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty frustrating watch for me. There's some really great elements. Again, this is so far from the worst TV show or bad television. I just found this season to be very much a mixed bag. For months to come, I am going to keep thinking on it and seeing how I'm feeling. This is just in the moment, a day or two after I finished the season. I thought 7 episodes too was too short. And I thought they could have gone 8 to either 9 episodes this season. And that's why I think the Ellie thing hasn't worked. It feels very rushed and out of left field. If they maybe gave them an episode or two more, they could have felt more authentic and real the way Ellie is reacting. So, and I also want to say this too. They set up so much in this episode. And as someone who plays the video game, I'm excited and ready for those things to happen. But as someone, I can't imagine, I would love to know your thoughts if you have never played the video game, if this was at all a satisfying finale, because it is a big cliffhanger where they leave this season and they leave so much meat on the bone for next season. Did it feel not like a great finale? Because again, I found the finale to be okay, but I also know what they're setting up for next season. I can't imagine being in a position again, because I've played the game and as a big Last of Us fan, know exactly where they're going. So if you haven't played the game, were you underwhelmed even more than I was for this finale? Because it was a big cliffhanger, and especially where they're setting up to follow Abby a lot next season, where Abby is barely really in this season. So again, let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm going to stop here for my TV show spoiler part. I'm going to talk briefly on what they're going to do in season 3. But again, if you're heading off, you've never played the video game, thanks for joining me. Again, I absolutely adore The Last of Us. One of my favorite video game property of all time. So it's always an honor for me to be able to cover this show, both seasons 1 and 2. So you've been with me every week for the last month and a half. Thank you guys so much for joining me for these 7 episodes. And whenever season 3 comes out, I'll be back giving you guys some reviews of that as well. But again, if you've not played the video game, please head out. I am going to be spoiling what they're going to be doing in season 3. So waving my hands, last call, and starting now with video game spoilers. So they end on Abby being at the day 1 of Seattle. So I think what they're going to do is, now what's interesting is Craig Mazin did say they need to get to season 4 to finish the game, adapting Last of Us 2. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't think they need 2 more seasons to finish the game. I honestly think they just need 1 more season. If they do 8 or 9 episodes next season, they can do the 3 or 4 episodes of Abby in Seattle. Then you have the confrontation at the auditorium. And then you have 2 episodes I would do with Santa Barbara, where, that's where Abby runs off to with Lev. And that's where the final confrontation happens between Abby and Ellie. I don't think they can drag this out to like 15 to 17 episodes. We're basically at the halfway point of the game. They've only been greenlit for one more season, and with the major drop off, it seems from a viewership perspective, I'm not sure HBO would give them a season four. I firmly believe they don't need a season four. I think they can get the rest of the game knocked out in season three, and that can be it for the show. Um, I got very nervous when Mason was talking about how they need to do it in two more seasons. I disagree. I think if you do a 8 or 9 episode season three of the whole back half of part two, I think you can get that done here. So I'm very interested in how they go about it. It looks like we're gonna get probably, as I said, 3 to 4 episodes with Abby's part in Seattle. Her stuff with Owen, what they're setting up with Owen and Mel, and at the end of this past episode, the confrontation at the auditorium, then Ellie and Dina raising their kid, and then Ellie leaving to go after Abby in Santa Barbara, Ellie coming back, Dina's gone, Ellie loses basically everything in her life. It's a bleak ending. I wonder again, they stuck really close to the game in season two. I feel like they're just going to keep doing that for season three. I hope there's not a season four. I don't think they need to drag this out 2 more seasons. What are your guys' thoughts on The Last of Us season two? Did you like it? Not like it? How many more seasons do you want? Let me know. I'll talk to you guys in the next video very soon.